Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based critics fire each other up about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
This is episode 25, gentlemen. I have said the last two episodes that we're getting into the good season. Why doesn't it feel like it yet?
I think it's because there isn't a lot coming out.
Yeah.
I jumped the gun, didn't I?
Well, I mean, there is some good stuff coming out that I'm looking forward to. I mean, there's one, we're not reviewing Heretic, but I think we all had a pretty positive view on that. And we're starting to get into, award season. The early previews for Wicked are coming back as astounding.
Yeah.
So
we will definitely review Wicked
there's
when
stuff
the time
coming,
comes.
But just nothing huge.
Well, you're making me feel better because I felt like I not only jumped the gun, but I might have just completely jumped the shark because it just seemed like nothing I was saying was true. But here we are. We're in November as we record. We're going to review two films, Venom, The Last Dance. Then we're going to review Here, which is Robert Zemeckis' new film. We'll do our Guilty Pleasures, Unnecessary Dance Sequence Edition. And then we'll do our coming attractions. So it's a typical show. I'm excited to do it. Let's jump in with Venom, The Last Dance. Before Adam takes us through the plot, let's listen to a little bit of the trailer.
You're not going to like this.
No, I can absolutely guarantee you I'm not gonna.
My home has found us.
Who sent that thing?
My creator.
Of course.
The symbiotes didn't come here by accident. They were running.
From what?
Okay, Adam, get us up to speed on this. It's the third one, right?
it's the third one and maybe the last one. Who knows? There's some after credit scenes that could help you out with that. But basically we've got Tom Hardy back as Eddie Brock and doing the voice of Venom. They are still on the run for a murder that was committed by Carnage in the last film. Through all of this, though, they start being hunted by a creature known as a xenophage. There is the symbiote god Null is stuck in a prison and needs to find something that Venom has with him that will let them out. And basically, they're trying to get away. We learned that the twist in this one is that anytime he becomes Venom, it's like a homing beacon for this creature to come find him. And we've learned kind of the real story of why the symbiotes are on Earth, what their plan is, and the question becomes, can Eddie Brock and Venom survive, or are they going to sacrifice themselves for the greater good?
I'm going to start this with a question. Why did they wait for 3 movies to give us something resembling a plot?
You don't go to these movies for a plot.
I realize that. I know what we're talking about, but
it's like they're finally giving us some kind of dessert in a way.
Well, I felt like there was a story here. Like there was actual lore. There was some real deep cut Marvel character exploration. We finally got a story. I thought the first 2 were ridiculous in the extreme, and I just did not understand what in the world Tom Hardy was doing in these films. I think you guys maybe liked them a little bit more than me. Did you go into this, Adam, expecting something fun?
I mean, the first 2 are not high art by any means, and this one isn't either, but I've been a huge fan of Venom. I still remember in high school sitting at my friend's house reading through all of our Venom comics, which actually are expensive now, so I'm glad I held on to those. So I've always been a big fan of the character, and we didn't really get a good portrayal in Spider-Man 3, so I was
did not.
And that actually almost was my guilty pleasure, but I decided against it. So when these ones came out, I walked in expecting stupid. I didn't go in with expecting Sundance level filmmaking. And actually this movie is better than a lot of Sundance films, just for those who don't attend. It's true. We can all attest to that. The Greasy Strangler, anyone? But it knows what it is. It's not trying to be something, it's not pretending. And that's kind of, I think, what Beetlejuice felt like. It was pretending to be something bigger than what it was. And this is like, look, we're going to have this creepy monster who, it's like a bromance buddy cop thing with Eddie Brock being, I'm getting too old for this stuff kind of thing. And I'm going to bite the heads off people. We're going to get a couple bad words into PG-13 movie we don't normally get to use. And then we kind of have a little bit of an ambiguous ending, which I think is kind of what we needed. Although if it ends today and there's no more ever made in this series, you get a good conclusion.
It's a good high note.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. Honestly, I can't imagine they can get Tom Hardy to do a 4th of these. But so if Adam's right, Brooks, and it's a buddy cop movie, well, then certainly Tom Hardy is the Danny Glover and Venom is the Mel Gibson. But does their relationship work for you? Because I have an answer for myself, but I want to hear what you think.
It does to me, and I think the reason why is because Tom Hardy gets to play both characters.
Right.
He
Yes.
gets to be Eddie Brock and voice Venom. And he also helped with the story, which means he probably contributed a lot to the screenplay. So I'm sure they might have just been letting him riff a lot of the time with himself, which is even weirder.
If that's true, then I'm even more disappointed because I felt like the first half of the movie sucked. I thought it was really silly and not in a good way. It wasn't serious in terms of its script writing. It seemed mailed in. It seemed like everyone was just going along with the motions. Like, please, can this thing be over? That's what the first half felt like to me. And I felt like the interplay between Brock and Venom was so lame. And I thought, oh man, I'm not sure I can sit through the rest of this. But then something happens about halfway through the movie. Everything tightens up from a script standpoint. You start to actually get that story that I referenced before, and it was actually fun. So to me, it's a tale of two movies. The first half was terrible. The second half, really fun summer popcorn. Like, I don't know why we couldn't get that tightness, that actual committed creativity in the first half as well.
I think it's
I-
because he didn't have shoes in the first half.
I think what happened is that it was the first half of the movie was like watching two separate movies,
Mm-hmm.
and then they finally collided and made sense with each other.
Yeah.
But it was
That-
getting to that point.
Adam, help me out here. This is my Marvel ignorance moment. I have these all the time. I should be a little jingle for it, but who's Null? Is this an important character?
He definitely is a very important character. I've not read much of him in the comics. I know, Brooks, you were talking a bit about it when we were talking about the movie.
All I know is that he's very useless in this movie. He's
Yeah.
completely wasted.
He's voiced by Andy Serkis. I mean,
He
talk about
is the
luxury
MacGuffin.
casting. Yeah,
He's
totally.
literally I'd rarely see or at least realize when characters are MacGuffins, but that's all he is in this.
So it's not just me. This is the deepest of deep cut villains. This is not a common Marvel villain.
It feels like it.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
done a lot of stuff. It just, with the other stuff I've worked on as far as the podcast I do with comics, we really kind of focused more on indie stuff. So I can't really say that I've read a lot with Null, although I do know that he is the creator of the symbiotes and that he's done a lot of stuff. I just couldn't sit here right now and tell you what it is. But apparently he's been around since the beginning and before of the universe. Like, he actually has gone to war with what are they called?
The Eternals.
Not the Eternals, the other ones, the Celestials.
Okay.
Ah.
So, but yeah, he's just known as the elder god of like darkness and, basically like Cthulhu kind of thing. So he's very, very powerful and he's been around forever and been a villain, but I have not read much of his stuff.
He hasn't been in any of what I've read either.
Well, I do think it's interesting that from a Marvel standpoint, it's made very clear in this movie in the first 2 minutes that this is not going to connect to the MCU. They do that in a very elegant and I thought very funny way.
Oh yeah.
It's not the first time someone's done something like that. I won't give it away, but I will say that it is ground that was already tread a little bit by Deadpool. But I did like the fact that they made a nod to the MCU and then put to bed any notion that this is
Yep.
going to be part of it. Brooks, why is Tom Hardy doing this?
I think he likes it now. I think they found their groove.
He
They
got a
figured
writer's
out-
credit on this. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
They figured out what kind of movie they wanted to make. And the director, Kelly Marcel, she co-wrote the second one. And then now with this one, she wrote and directed it by herself with Tom Hardy as story. But I think that the two managed to work together and knew what kind of movie they wanted to make. And Sony let them. And more power to them, because otherwise it's a weird thing to say that the Venom movies have gotten better with each entry, because that does not happen
I
with
think-
these movies.
I think that's something I can easily agree with you on.
The first one is not good.
I did not notice much difference between the first two, if I'm honest, but there's no doubt for me that this third one is a lot better. And they're not wasting money, Adam. The cast is really good. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Juno
Mhm.
Temple. I mean, they're spending money on the cast, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and I think the reason why they're not afraid to do it is because of how much money these movies have made. I think no one expected the first Venom to do the hundreds of millions of dollars it did. No one,
Shouldn't have.
and it shouldn't have. But again, there's that little niche group of comic book people, and I think it's also very approachable in the sense that everyone knows Tom Hardy. He's easy to look at. He's fun, and I think one of the things we've brought up many times on this show is that sometimes when you go into a Marvel movie or Marvel TV series, you have to do homework. You have to have seen Loki or watched WandaVision.
Yeah.
Venom literally is, I can walk in knowing nothing. Because if you think about it, the whole big, in the comics at least, the big thing with Venom is how much he hates Spider-Man because Spider-Man rejected the symbiote. Spider-Man's not in this. They don't even say his
Yeah.
name, I don't think. Like they
Mm-mm.
specifically
No,
keep
definitely
it
not.
just about Venom. So it is a great place to walk into being like, I don't know anything that's going on. And the movie was like, come here. We're fine with that. Let us just have some fun with you. So I think that's kind of why a lot of people did jump into it because it was easy. You didn't have to eat your vegetables to get your dessert.
Mhm.
That is true. It's a little bit lower barrier to entry for this franchise for sure. I'm not even sure you need to have seen the first two to enjoy this because
No.
it does do a lot of sort of catch up work with the story,
Oh,
which,
yeah.
which I think is pretty smart actually, especially if you're hoping to make the kind of money they made off the first two. You need new people to the franchise if you're going to do that. I will say, if you're going to go see this film based on either what we're saying or your own desires, 2 scenes at the end, one mid credits and one at the very end. I couldn't explain either one to you, completely baffling, but they do exist. So make sure you stick around for those. All right, let's go to scores. I want Brooks to go first because I think Brooks saw it first. No, Adam, you saw it first. You
Adam
go
saw it
first.
first. We all saw it
Yeah.
the same day,
We
just
did.
not together.
We saw it on the same day, not together. That rarely happens for us. All right, let's go in viewing order. Adam, you're up first.
So I kind of wish we could have been together because I think we would have had a blast. And in my theater, there was no one there. I was in the very back.
Same.
There was 3 people in 3 rows in front of me. So I was live tweeting you guys, everything else. So I'm at 3 stars just because it's a lot of fun. I love the character. I think they did a good job sending him off, or maybe not. Maybe you'll find out later. I think it kind of broke some of its rules as far as how they handle the symbiotes and how they take over their human hosts. There's a family that's introduced halfway through that I just couldn't care about.
Yeah.
Like some just ridiculous moments. But it's just for watching Venom, the symbiote, take hold of the horse, and then that scene with them flying all over the place and everything else. It's just fun. It really is the epitome of turn your brain off and have fun. And we don't normally get these this time of year. We're kind of normally getting the more serious movies. And it had fun. It does what it wants to do. Tom Hardy's loving it. I mean, it's a summer popcorn movie while it's snowing.
3 stars for you. Brooks, where are you?
I'm agreeing with Adam. It's a solid 3. I mean, I would have given the second one a 3, but this one's even better. So I don't think it's good enough to bump up another half because it's not that great. But it is super fun. And that's what I've been telling people. I said it's a big, dumb, fun action movie that remembers to be fun, which is usually what gets left behind. And you're just left with big, dumb.
Well, I think the 2 of you both went into this thinking I would hate it a lot.
Oh, we did. We told you as much.
Oh, yeah.
You probably came out of it hoping I wouldn't hate it so much. So I hope you like the score I'm about to give it.
Uh-oh.
It's not going to be a big surprise because I told you before I thought it was half of a bad movie and half of a good movie. So what does that add up to? That adds up to 2 stars. So I enjoyed myself a lot more than I thought I would. I was really nervous 45 minutes in, and by the end, I texted you guys as soon as the credits rolled, and I said, well, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be, which for me was really high praise for
Which
this.
is glowing.
I had such a good time with it. So 2 stars for me. Brooks,
3.
Adam,
3
Venom, The
for
Last
Venom
Dance.
3.
Yeah, Venom 3, exactly. One of the things we didn't talk about, but it's important for this episode, is that there's a dance scene in the film. And it's one of the things that kind of bothered me most about it because it was totally unnecessary and they danced to Dancing Queen, for goodness sakes. And
By 18s, not even
like,
ABBA.
but it was like zero thought went into that. Dancing Queen, it's like having your karaoke song be Don't Stop Believing. Give me a break.
But
So-
even Eddie wanted to know when they rehearsed it. So.
I guess. Well, I didn't. I wanted them to do it someplace else. But that was a disappointing moment, and it's why we're doing the guilty pleasure we are. Okay, we digress. Back on track. We're going to come back and talk about Zemeckis' new film Here. Let's listen to a little bit of the trailer before Brooks takes us through it.
Hey, Dad. Like you to meet Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Young.
Time sure does fly, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Take a straight and stronger course to the corner of your life. Make the White Queen run so fast. She hasn't got time.
All right, not a lot of words in that trailer. Brooks, take us through the plot.
So it's pretty simplistic. It's about a single plot of land and mostly about a single house and what happens either on that land or in that house. Most of it focuses on Tom Hanks's character, with Robin Wright getting back together with Robert Zemeckis to not quite give us Forrest Gump, but that would have been an absolutely better movie than anything we got in this.
I knew you were going to drop that line, Forrest Gump. That's really the long and short of it, though, from a plot standpoint. And the one thing you didn't say, Brooks, is that it's not just this one house, but it's a single setup. There's one angle. It's a single angle movie. You can tell this by the trailer, but you may not know it until you actually sit there and experience it. There's like a camera on a tripod set up in the corner of this room, and
For all time.
For all time. It takes
Which
us
you'll feel the same way.
Like from the dinosaurs. Yeah, it literally has dinosaurs.
From
to
the
COVID.
From the
dinosaurs to
yesterday.
COVID.
Exactly. So it's a pretty high concept conceit. And I was excited about it because I thought Zemeckis can pull this off. He's got a great cast. Forrest and Jenny are back together. Paul Bettany's in it. The cast is strong. And I was excited walking into it. That excitement dissipated pretty quickly because I felt like the script was bad. It was thin. It was embarrassingly delivered by the cast. And there just was not a whole lot of meat on the bone with the stories. Not only the main story, but all of the sub-stories that are supposed to get us to Tom Hanks and Paul Bettany's house. I thought that the entire thing felt so choreographed, so staged, so heavy-handed in its blocking that all of the life was strangled out of it. The actors didn't have a single spare inch to breathe. Adam, what'd you think?
It's an interesting idea. I went in like you did. I liked the conceit. I watched the trailer because I hadn't even heard about it till like a week before we saw it. And I told my friend about it and she's like, oh my gosh, I want to go. And then it was press only. So I started out and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then about half hour in, you just realize that this probably could have been a short film because the main story and what matters the most is the Tom Hanks and Robin Wright part of it, where they're younger, growing up, and then dealing with his family and like the reason why they can't get their own place. And everything else in it just felt filler. And I understand the whole process, the whole concept of love, lost life throughout the years, but I didn't care. The only quote unquote interesting part of the story was the main part with Tom Hanks. And the rest of them were like, okay, I don't care who made the Lazy Boy. I don't care about the guy who had the first airplane. I don't care about the COVID times. I've lived through COVID times. I don't need to see that again. You know, I was on the front lines, working in a grocery store. So I've seen it. I've been there. There's a 45-minute story that's the important part of the story. And of that 45 minutes, 20 minutes is useful. So again, I think you could have taken the whole thing down, it feels like a stage play. I think it'd be interesting maybe as a stage play.
That's what I've been calling it. Stage play the movie.
It feels like a high school
community theater. The movie.
Community theater.
Yeah.
It feels like the kind of play that you go to in your hometown and you just thank the Lord you don't know anybody in it because you've been gone so long, because you don't know what you would possibly say to them. It's that cringy. It's that bad. And Brooks, I'm curious if you agree with this idea that I had about this film. I think one of the worst things about it is the script. The blocking and the staging is terrible, but the script is bad too, because they have these little short windows to get the information apart to make sure that part of their story links to the next one whenever it comes back. So they say everything out loud, all the stage directions, all of the background. It's just painful. Do you think this movie would have worked better if Zemeckis had bought in to the graphic novel source material and had no dialogue?
Oh, see, I didn't know anything about the graphic novel. I never looked into it because
what does that tell you now that you know? Yeah.
That may have been way more interesting, but it also could have saved the movie to just have been linear.
Yeah.
This bouncing back and forth, all of these characters you don't care about. The reason why you don't care about most of them is you don't spend any time with them. You get like a 5-minute segment here, and then 30 minutes later they show up for 5 more minutes. You don't care about anybody. And even the Tom Hanks and Robin Wright and Paul Bettany, they're all completely wasted because Paul Bettany's never been worse. He's yelling every line of dialogue, and I don't care that they gave him the excuse that he lost his hearing in the war. It's no excuse for how bad it was delivered. And Zemeckis, of all people, should know better than to have accepted it.
Paul Bettany is doing an old man skit from SNL.
The entire time.
It is really not good.
Even when he's young.
All right, I got 2 little quick fun things though.
Okay.
So the original comic of this movie was a 6-page comic.
What?
That was changed in 2014 into a long 304-page graphic novel. But here's the funny part is that in 1991, they took the original comic and some film students made a 6-minute short film. And I bet you that was better than what we got.
It probably was. And you know what, Adam, this movie made me think of? Another Tom Hanks project that was kaleidoscopic, based on a pastiche of many stories, Cloud Atlas. Also based on a great book that did not work as a movie because I can't remember who did that one. It might have been
Was
the
it
Wachowskis.
Wachowskis?
It might have been the
Wachowskis.
Wachowskis.
Yeah.
They forgot they were making one film. They tried to make 10 little short masterpieces in that rather than one film with an arc that bound them. I think this movie does the same thing. Each of the little sequences is trying to do way too much work. That's why the script comes off like a slap in the face. It's a hammer to the forehead. It's so unsubtle. And I really feel like that held it back. So I'm talking a lot here. I'm curious, Adam, what you thought of the performances, Bettany, Hanks, Robin Wright, all of it.
Well, I think we have to discuss the elephant in the room, and that is the de-aging process. It did the whole thing it did again with Harrison Ford in the last Indiana Jones, where the de-aging process wasn't horrible. I mean, there's definitely some moments where you could tell, like, hey, this isn't the people, but they didn't change the voices again. And, you've got 60 some odd year old Tom Hanks voicing a 20-year-old. And yeah, you could almost see the telephones that were pressed against their ear. I mean, why is Paul Bettany slumming in this? He doesn't need to. And maybe it was because Robert Zemeckis' name is attached, and Robert Zemeckis, we know, can make good stuff.
Yep.
So did he owe the studio a favor? Like, it's apparently not. It cost $50 million to make, and it's made $5 million back.
It's not doing well.
No, it's not. And for something that could have been doing well, something that could have been interesting, it's just so weighed down by so much bloat and baggage that I don't know who this movie's for. I mean, maybe people are diehard Tom Hanks fans who just wanted to see him in something new, but I don't know who is interested in watching this.
AARP people.
Even they weren't interested. So our screening was sponsored by AARP. No, it was sponsored by AARP. And so we had a lot of elderly people there watching it. And I mean, even they didn't seem interested. Like, they're the target audience for like growing up with Tom Hanks and everything else. And I don't know who this is for.
Well, there was not a single elderly person, an actual elderly person in the film.
No,
not until like the very end. And then they were only in it for fleeting moments.
It's hard to watch the de-aging process become as popular as it has, because I don't understand why directors don't trust themselves to be able to stick landings where they change actors with each generation. I don't understand why they don't trust themselves. I'd realize you don't always get lucky in Men in Black to find Josh Brolin, who, for all the reasons, looks exactly like Tommy Lee Jones would have when he was younger. You don't always get that lucky, but trust your audience. The de-aging process is so uncanny. It takes everyone out of it right from the start. The first minute Tom Hanks walks in as a high school student, I said, uh-oh, that looks terrible. And it never actually got any better. I think a different actor that results in Tom Hanks as an adult, a different series of actors, would have made this movie a lot more effective, because there's no reason to disturb us with de-aging and other tricks when you've already got such a high conceit with this film. You're already asking us to go so far intellectually. Don't take us out of it with technology.
And see, you could have done you have a new actor plays Tom Hanks' character for teenage 20s. And by the time he gets to mid-late 30s, we have the makeup techniques to make him look younger. So you don't need to do, the Carrie Fisher effect on him. But I just don't know. It's like, we have technology, we have practical effects that can get us where we want us to be. You don't need to use AI to make someone look young.
Brooks, we talked about a million different things that are wrong with this. What could have saved it, do you think? I had a couple theories that I threw at you, but what were you hoping for when you walked in based on all the names you saw?
I just wanted a story, any kind of story. And all I got that was worthwhile was a baby face plant. And that's it. That's the best part of the movie.
Literally a baby face planting off of a sofa.
There is a baby accident. It looks like CG.
It's done very effectively.
So for you, a real deep, meaningful story.
Anything, yeah, because that's what they make you think you're gonna get.
Well, they certainly are acting like they're delivering a great story.
It made me remember the movie Past Lives. And I can't tell you why. There's something about it that triggered that thought with me. Maybe I'm just weird and psycho and everything else, but it just kind of seemed like that was like the nice little story it was trying to be, except Past Lives did it a lot better. And I say that as someone who really didn't like Past Lives. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
I thought Past Lives had a very thin story to tell too, but the script was much better. The acting was a lot better calibrated. It was directed in a way that I thought served its story. This
Yeah.
Zemeckis didn't serve this story. He didn't have much to work with, but he leaned too hard into the actors and the words when he should have leaned more into the conceit and the visuals because he had something there. All right, let's score it. I will go first. And this is going to elicit a conversation that I think we need to have about how we score these things. But to me, based on what I was expecting, based on what I got, I'm going to give this movie a 1.5. I really wanted more. So 1.5 from me. Adam, where are you?
I'm close to that. I'm just at a 1 star. Again, I walked in, I was excited for it. I was interested. I saw the trailer. I liked the way how when they were originally kind of moving between the years, they had the rectangles and squares come up like a comic book. And then they just kind of forgot about that. And it just, you had all these stories that didn't matter, that had nothing to do with the plot. Like, I don't care that Ben Franklin's son used to live there, and that had nothing to do with anything else in the whole entire story. So
The
it
movie
just
was
felt,
full of that kind of stuff.
yeah, it was just a wasted opportunity. And
Yeah.
much like Brooks, I would have loved to have seen a good story because we had the actors, we had the director. Eric Roth wrote it. He did Dune. So it's not as if we don't have talent there. I just feel like someone called in a favor.
Brooks?
Yeah, all of what you guys have said. I mean, it's the team that gave us Forrest Gump. What happened?
Yeah.
I mean, that movie was chock full of special effects from start to finish.
It
And they
was.
still managed to give us, did that win Best Picture? I think it might have.
I'll look it up.
Definitely
But
nominated.
either way, yeah, it was one of the best movies of that year. And now we get this.
Yes, it did win. It won.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I'm giving it one baby face plant, and that's it.
Well, I know what some of you are thinking. You're screaming into your earphones right now because how can you score this movie lower than Venom 3? And here's the
Because
truth.
Venom was fun.
Here's the truth. It's a sliding scale, these things. These movies are, to some degree, judged against themselves, judged against the expectations of their genre, judged against the careers of their creators. Every movie is in a vacuum. So a show like this, where we do something as absurd as putting Venom Last Dance and Here together, it's a complete reset once we go to break. The two things don't compare at all. So is Venom a better movie than Here? In a lot of ways, absolutely. Is it better technically? Is it better? No, we're not going to get into that because it doesn't matter. The point is, these things are judged based on their own sets of criteria. So take it or leave it. That's how we do this. I'm at 1.5. Adam?
1.
Brooks?
1.
Okay. When we come back, Guilty Pleasures, Unnecessary Dance Sequence Edition. I can't wait. We'll take a little break and see you in a minute. Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Guilty Pleasures, boys. Unnecessary dance sequence. We're talking now about movies that aren't musicals, but for some reason have a dance sequence. Adam, you go first.
All right. So my movie is, I think, the epitome description of a guilty pleasure. It is stupid. It makes no sense. It is just
Love it
absolutely
already.
horrible. And of course, I am talking about the 2004 Keenan Ivory Wayans directed classic White Chicks.
Oh my God.
Because there is a scene in like 2/3 of the movie where they're like doing like a rap off or a dance off with like the waspy chicks from the Hamptons, and it's very obviously fake breakdancing. It's very obviously not them. It's probably even a puppet tied to strings. And then they end and they're just looking there like, and it's so stupid. Like I have no shame in saying that I unabashedly love this, one of the crappiest movies I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
And it's one of those ones where I don't have live TV anymore, but if I was flipping through cable channels and it's on, I'll finish it. It's like one of those movies for me.
I'm seeing you in a new light.
You are, yes. So
I don't know if I like it, but it's there, but it's on.
We won't discuss your movies.
Well,
Like there's that one movie that doesn't exist. Like they jumped right to 5 or something like that. I don't know.
That's a deep Big Movie Mouth
Time
Off
jump.
cut right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mine is not nearly as crappy. In fact, it might be argued that it's not even a bad movie. So how can it be a guilty pleasure? But I will suggest that a lot of this director's movies are hated. And I'm talking about 2012 Moonrise Kingdom, Wes Anderson.
Oh.
Now,
I liked Moonrise Kingdom.
I did
Yeah.
too. I think a lot of people did, but also a lot of people didn't because people find his movies to be kind of all the same, a little too twee, all valid
This is one of his
critiques.
best.
Think about it though, it was 5 movies ago. It's hard to remember some of his older stuff because he's fairly prolific and each one kind of resets your brain a little bit.
Mhm.
But there's a sequence in Moonrise Kingdom where the 2 young characters, Sam and Susie, do a little dance on the lake shore and they're in their underwear. It's extremely awkward. It's a very awkward scene and it's supposed to be, but I think it's absolutely charming. It's a wonderfully Wes Anderson, quirky, weird dollhouse scene. It's perfect for the film, perfect for his kind of filmmaking, and I just love it. So that's mine. Moonrise Kingdom from 2012. Brooks, what's your unnecessary dance sequence film?
Well, mine actually is kind of timely because Christmas is coming. And yes, we are talking about 2003's Richard Curtis masterpiece, Love Actually.
Oh, Brooks, nicely done.
Right?
Nice.
Who can do better than watching Hugh Grant rock out through Parliament?
I wondered how
Whatever
long
that's
it would
called.
take one of us to mention the guiltiest of all guilty pleasures in film history. I think Love Actually is on everybody's list for some reason or another. It's a good one for this category. All right, Brooks, yours was?
Love Actually.
Mine was Moonrise Kingdom, Wes Anderson 2012, and Adam?
Is a truly guilty pleasure, White Chicks.
God, I'm regretting making you say it a third time. I wish we hadn't done that. Okay. That's probably the widest range we've ever had on a guilty pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
By
Oh, yeah.
far.
And what we've always said, there's nothing wrong with liking a bad movie.
No.
There's nothing wrong with it.
From White Chicks to Love Actually. I mean,
To Moonrise Kingdom.
yeah, to Moonrise Kingdom, exactly. All right. We'll take our last break on episode 25. When we come back, we'll do our coming attractions. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back one last time on this episode of Big Movie Mouth Off. Coming attractions, things we're excited for. I'm going to go first. I just saw a trailer for a movie that's coming out this weekend as we record. This is a movie called Small Things Like These. It's a story, interesting story about the Magdalene Laundries. It stars Cillian Murphy. It stars Emily Watson, directed by a guy named Tim Milans. I didn't really know much about him, except that he's done a lot of interesting television work on shows that I like, Peaky Blinders and Legion and some other really interesting things. So I saw this. It jumped out at me as kind of one of those films that people are going to be talking about at the end of the year. It looks really, really good. And if you don't know what the Magdalene Laundries are, I won't waste a lot of time talking about that here, but just look into it. It was basically a series of convents that served as insane asylums for women that were promiscuous or doing things that went against social mores. So yeah, exactly. So small
clutching my
things
pearls.
like these. Brooks, what are you looking forward to?
Mine comes out for Valentine's Day, and I just found out about it when the trailer dropped. And it's the new horror comedy Heart Eyes from the director of Scare Me and Werewolves Within.
I watched the trailer for this, Brooks, after you told me about it. And the first thing I thought was, it's such a Brooks movie. Honestly, I'm not sure that you're not making these films.
Well, what's really funny is that they aren't even advertising it as what it actually is, because the director has said that he has a huge love for rom-coms.
Right.
And so that's what this also is. It's a couple, well, they're co-workers working. I'll read it right off of Wikipedia. Co-workers working late on Valentine's Day are mistaken for a couple by the infamous Heart Eyes killer.
Mm-hmm.
So they aren't even a couple, but now they're being terrorized. And it's got a great cast and the director, and it's from the writers of Freaky. I'm in, baby.
I said I wasn't sure that you're not actually making these movies. I'm not
Feels
sure
like
you're not
it.
actually starring in them. You probably are the Heart Eyes killer. All right. That's what Brooks is looking
That's next
forward to.
Halloween.
Adam, what about you?
So originally I was thinking of one that I think we've picked, so I decided not to go with that. This is one, though, that I have seen posters for all over the place, and I finally saw the trailer at Venom, of all things. And I'm talking about a movie that comes out actually next week as well, and that would be Red One.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you.
So yeah, this is one where we have J.K. Simmons playing Santa Claus. He's been kidnapped or captured or something like that for some kind of nefarious experiment. And we've got Dwayne Johnson as Callum Drift. He's head of North Pole Security for St. Nicholas, and he ropes in Chris Evans, who plays Jack O'Malley, who's a bounty hunter, and basically says, "You need to save Christmas." And this is by the same director who did the new Jumanji movies. And if you've seen those and you've seen this trailer, they're very, very similar.
Totally.
It kind of has that not Bad Santa. It was Silent Night that we saw last year. But I think this is PG-13, so it's not.
Yeah,
quite
it's
as
more
violent.
kid friendly.
Yeah, more kid friendly. It's got Chris Evans, which I'm always there for, and it just looks fun. And sometimes you want just those fun movies, but it doesn't look quite as dumb as Venom. But for something I hadn't even seen a trailer of, it wasn't even on my radar aside from occasionally seeing a poster. Like, I'm all in now. So
This one looks totally fun. I mean, J.K. Simmons, The Rock, Chris Evans, all can be extremely funny when they've got good material to work with.
Yes.
So this one has everything going for it. Have you seen it too, Brooks? Have you seen the trailer?
Oh yeah, we have a 7-year-old in the house. We're excited for it.
You're the 7-year-old in your house, Brooks.
Well, okay, we have 2 7-year-olds in the house.
Well, I am definitely looking forward to Red One. Brooks, what was your movie again?
Heart Eyes.
And mine was Small Things Like These, due out as we record this coming weekend. So lots of stuff happening now, lots of stuff happening in the spring. I was about to say lots of great stuff happening this time of year, but I'm not going to fall into that trap again, because every time I say it, we enter a dead zone. It is true, though, that we're about to go into what we call awards season in our business. Our mailboxes are about to be really full with screeners for all the films. So we might have to ramp it up here and do a few more three-peats. What do you guys think?
Works for me.
sounds good to me. It just kind of depends if we're going to get art house or if we're going to get stuff everyone's going to see, or if we have some art house we know people want to see.
Guys, see you in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure what we'll be talking about. I honestly have no idea, but it's going to be great. I promise you that. Until then, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Thanks for being with us. Big Movie Mouth Off was produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Adam McDonald and Brooks Bird. Our theme music is written by Brian Z. Richards, and this show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.